improvements in endurance and improvements in your reported fatigue with neither knowing which water you're getting is exciting for every athlete and human. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I'm Kelsey.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Rachel. I almost said, oh my God. Remember that episode?
Rah, rah, Rachel.
Rom Rachel.
Rachel.
Oh, we've been doing this a while. How's
We
everybody doing? Hi, friends.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so glad you joined us for another week. This one was a fun one to put together.
Yeah, I think everyone's waiting on the edge of their seats to find out about this one too, because I got a lot of messages being like, let me know how that works because this is a hot topic.
Hot topic. We got a trend alert, guys.
The new
But
trend.
before we trend alert you, we just have to take a moment because Kelsey owns a real plant. There's a new addition to Kelsey's family.
There's a new addition to my family, and I think I just named her today, so we're not married to it, you know what I mean? How I feel about that. But I think her name is Lucy.
100%.
Doesn't she look like a little Lucy?
She's a fiddle for all you plant lovers. And we feel good about a fiddle for Kelsey because, for the most part, they're pretty low maintenance. But I will say, as part of the fiddle loving family, if your fiddle is developing some brown spots on its leaves, or when you touch the leaves, they feel like really crinkly and dry, it's going to want some daily, well, you don't have to daily, but at least weekly mist it. They like mist on their leaves.
Oh, a little mister. Lucy likes a little misting from time to time.
It just
I
helps
gotta
to keep
get a
their
mister,
leaves
I guess.
shiny. And
So here's the thing. I am not historically a live plant person. I really like plants that thrive under neglect. That's
hmm,
that's usually the
is
ones I
that
go
like
for.
part of a bigger life?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Like anything
What
that
do you mean?
thrives under neglect?
I
What do you mean? You wanna unpack that?
do you? What do you mean? What do I mean?
I'm not historically a plant lady, but I would like to become a plant lady in the future because I have been doing a lot of reading about the effects of plants in your environment and like how good it is for your breathing. I have eucalyptus in my shower. Like I would like to have some plants around, and I think it's going to be good to have live things because I've only had one other girl over there. She's made it so far, but she's fake.
Well, yeah, you can't say she's made it if she's an artificial plant. That's I mean, what?
Well,
Because you
some
haven't like put
artificial
it in a
plants haven't
shredder?
made it. No, there's been others that there's been casualties along the way.
Oh god. Okay. Well, I'll say this, it's never too
Lila.
late to turn over a new leaf. Ching. I'm
Look at it.
so on
So cute.
today. So good for
Can I have a
you. Welcome,
confession, though?
Lucy. Welcome, Lucy,
Welcome
to
to
the
the show,
podcast.
Lucy. I have a little confession. I got Lucy either yesterday or the day before, and then she arrived in a box, and I left the box outside for, like, a day and a half or 2 days, and I was like, "This is not a good start, Kelsey."
Kelsey, if you ordered a puppy,
Yeah,
would you
but she
leave it in a box outside your door? That's a living thing.
well, I think that it's a testament to her resilience from the beginning.
That's sick. You're sick, man.
Um, I
Okay.
really I really think we're on a good trend, but yeah, when she first got here, you know how when things arrive and you just, like, walk by them a bunch of
No,
times?
no.
Oh, until, like, you walk by it one time and you're like, "How have I walked by this? It has to happen right now." That's what happened.
Still no. Um, all right. Well, I'm glad to have her here, and I hope that she gets better treatment than her first 2 days because that is abhorrent. But I will check in on her. I will be like the aunt she needs.
Mm,
And oh, you're just gonna casually okay, so guys, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard, hydrogen water is the newest trend in health and fitness. It is red hot right now. And we are here to talk about the nitty gritty. We tried out some bottles and we have done our own little anecdotal study for 2 weeks. And we've also deep dived into the research that is available on hydrogen water. And we are super excited to present this topic to you because I think, well, first of all, it's always nice when someone else does the research, right?
yeah.
Because that shit is like, sometimes I have to Google every other word.
Yeah, I'll be honest, when you said so sometimes Rachel gets a hold of the trends, the health trends, like Ozempic, we did an episode on that, and like what people are talking about. So when she said hydrogen water, hydrogen infused water, I was like, "Huh?" So I was just like, let me Google this real quick of like what is even happening out there. Like what's it supposed to do? And I was really excited when I heard about the claims, but also super skeptical because is it this like magic water? And because the benefits of like anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, like significant health, improving significant health markers, reducing anxiety, improving sleep, like the claims were kind of endless, like, all of the things that you're like, "Oh, well, yeah. Where do I get one of those? Improve my sleep?" Like, it
Well,
was
you know what was a weird thing for me is when they were like, "Oh, it's hydrogen water." I was like, "So regular water?" 'Cause like, um, I watched
H2O.
I watched Waterboy, and I know that it's quality H2O, and the H stands for hydrogen. So I was like at first I was confused. I was like, "Wait, is my current water not having it hydrogen? Is it only O? Like, what's happening?" But, what we are gonna discuss today is adding elevated levels of hydrogen, way more than what you would find in your typical everyday water, and whether or not that has any health benefits.
Yeah. So, something that I really like about this is that this is obviously going to evolve as as this catches fire, as hydrogen infused water catches fire, and it's going to be in like cans, things like that. But the things that I liked about this was that it was just a regular water bottle, and I could just add my water into that. Um,
Alright, wait, we're gonna talk about the bottles. We're definitely gonna talk
well,
about the
I
bottles in a
just want to
second.
say, I just want to say, like when you have to like repeatedly, when you're like, oh, now I'm gonna commit it. I'm so committed to like buying cans forever. I just don't like that. I don't like that
No.
experience.
Environmentally, I'm a hard no on that because,
Yeah,
that's just, like, way too much waste for me personally. But, yeah, I think you also brought up a really good thing, this is new. This
yeah,
is really new. So, the research on it is new. The, products coming out are really new. So we're kind of at the forefront of this. So I don't know that it's necessarily, boiled down to an art yet, and that's why we tried 2 different bottles, and there are also other ways to get more hydrogen in your water. There are tablets, that you can, like, drop into your water. But on today's podcast, what we're going to do is discuss some of the newest scientific studies around this and kind of break down what the science is saying on whether or not hydrogen makes a difference when you're drinking it. Um, we're going to review our 2 bottles that we got for, infusing more hydrogen into our water. We used them for 2 weeks, and we're gonna talk about, like, what we thought of them. And then we're gonna give our honest opinion on whether or not you might want to invest in some sort of bottle or tablet or something to start, getting more hydrogen in your water, whether or not we think that the science backs it and whether we liked it.
yeah. So just to like clear the air on starting off, like what is this bottle actually doing? Like it says that it's adding hydrogen gas into your water. So like basically the hydrogen molecules is what is supposed to make the big difference for inflammation or reduction in inflammation and improve your overall health by just drinking more water.
So, do any of these claims hold water?
Mhm. Got it.
Got it.
Well,
See,
I
and I did
was
the turn over the new leaf, and then I did oh my
you're just
god.
killing it with your
Oh
dad
my
jokes over
god.
there.
Dad jokes on 10.
Well, I as soon as I started researching this, I thought that the studies that have been done, although they are very new, um, like we don't have long-term studies, obviously, because this is very new. But I do think that the studies, especially the ones that we chose, held water
Ooh,
in a way that I thought they did a really nice job, controlling the placebo effect and, the use of double blind studies, I think is always I mean, they know what they're doing out there. But I think that is even more important than our, like, specific research because, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into when I opened my bottle and said like, "Oh, I'm having my hydrogen water today. Am I gonna turn into an X-Men?"
maybe.
Which is what I was kind of hoping for. And
Ugh,
then at the
damn it. Not
end
yet.
but just, like, thinking about using hydrogen water and is this going to make a significant effect on our bodies without what our brains are gonna tell us, like, obviously, I feel better, I drinking my hydrogen water. The first 2 days, I was drinking more water because I had this bottle, so I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely feeling a difference." I was like, "No, you're definitely drinking more water." Like
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I didn't want to just, get the bottles, review them, and give anecdotal evidence only because that's great, but the human brain's a weird place, man. It can do weird things. Even when you're talking about, like, double blind, placebo, like, studies, and all these things, it's like, we know that, the brain can create conditions in your body, like, you can will it to create conditions in your body. It's so strange when you deep dive into all of the things that, the human brain can do when it comes to physical responses in your body. So, that's why I definitely didn't want to just leave it to us, but I agree with you. I feel like the studies we chose were done really well. But again, they don't have that longevity factor. They're kind of new. They have small sample sizes. Like,
Mhm.
I would prefer, as research goes on in any given field, we get, longer time durations and we get larger sample sizes. And I always feel better about those two things cuz right now we're working with, the opposite. Um and the studies are relatively short as well. So, you know, also you always got to wonder, like, all right, who's backing these studies? You know what I mean? Like, who's paying for them? Is it the hydrogen companies? Like, is there a
Mhm.
hydrogen company? Um, but anyways, they are hot off the press, and we do definitely need more studies to reach like a scientific consensus on this. But what we will say is the initial data looks exciting.
The initial data looks very exciting, and I think a couple there's been, some, um, neuroscientists who have talked about this who are much more intelligent than Rachel and I, and have also looked at some of the data, and it appears that they are very excited about some of the findings as well. So, we'll we'll see. We'll see how it goes
We'll see
with
how
what
it
we're
goes,
about
but
to tell you.
yeah, we're gonna see if these end up, showing more and more promise or not. But initially, I want to say too that all of the studies that we have looked at are very simply adding hydrogen to water, because I know that at a certain point in the industry there is going to become if this gets hot enough, you're gonna start seeing flavored versions, protein versions, vegan water. Like, you know how, like, companies will take it to, like, just a ridiculous place. But we are
Honestly,
not
probably just ruin it.
and ruin it. But we are when we're referring to our bottles and we're referring to the studies, we're not changing any of the mineral, caloric, carb, or vitamin content of the water. All we're doing in any of the studies that we're referencing or in any of our individual findings, all we're doing is just water with added hydrogen, nothing else. Just wanted to put that out there.
All right, let's get into one of the like first studies just to kind of touch base on what we're talking about a little bit. So this is a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study. And when you double blind is obviously the participant, I'm not going to say obviously, just so you guys know, the participant and the researcher distributing the water does not know if they are giving hydrogen water or regular water. So neither one, the participant or the researcher knows which one they're giving. So they can't be like, how you feeling?"
You feeling better?
You feel better? Or, like, and even in their facial expressions, I always think that, like, there's no way they're not like, "Mm, mm." Like,
I know the
and people
eyebrow
pick up on
position
that.
tells you
Yeah.
everything.
So this is with participants that were both trained and untrained athletes, and they were part of a two-part study. So the experiment had untrained participants drink a standard placebo water 30 minutes before an exercise session. Regular water, no hydrogen in it. They were tested on an ergo how do you say that? Ergometer?
Ergometer, like erg.
Ergometer?
You know,
Yeah.
like, they also
I
use
just
that
only
for
read it and I never say it out loud.
no, yeah, but, like, we've also taken that term and used it, like, for rowers and skiers and all of those things. That it's just, a machine that tests the exertion level of certain muscles.
So then they had part 2 of the experiment where half of the participants were given the placebo again, while the other half were given hydrogen infused water. The hydrogen group showed notable decrease in the scores for fatigue after mild exercise. And when done with trained athletes, they had similar results. Okay, so basically, the athletes were given the hydrogen water 10 minutes before their moderate intense session. And the group showed improvements in endurance and fatigue when compared to the control group, which I find super exciting because improvements in endurance and improvements in your reported fatigue with neither knowing which water you're getting is exciting for every athlete and human.
It is. I mean, that study, especially like you said, the way it was done, double blind, placebo, like, everything about that was, controlled in a way that we had the least amount of placebo effect possible. And just looking at improvements in endurance and fatigue, it just 10 minutes before. It wasn't even
Yeah.
like they needed to do it for months on end to see, like, a cumulative effect. That was the crazy thing for me. It was like an instantaneous thing, that they were able to go longer and harder without really, like, fall wow. Wow, that I know. All the men were like, "What'd you say, sis?" They already ordered their bottle. They were like, "Longer
Soon
and
as you
harder."
ended that sentence, everyone's like, "I'm Googling immediately."
Calm down, penis crowd. I don't know if it works like that, but another study we looked at took trained cyclists. And so this, comparatively to the other study, which was kind of looking at what does it do for untrained athletes versus trained athletes, and we saw a very similar effect. This one took trained cyclists, and it was another double blind crossover setup. They all drank the regular water and then the hydrogen rich water. This one was a 7-day intake. So they assessed their VO2 max score and their maximum anaerobic tests in the beginning of the study, then had 7 days of hydrogen water or not, and then did it again at the end of 7 days. And again saw improvements in their VO2 maxes, their anaerobic tests. They had increases in 3 categories: peak power, their mean power, and a decrease in their fatigue index. So it was the same findings of like harder, longer, faster.
That's actually gonna be
Oh my
the
God.
summary for the hydrogen water.
Do you
Guys, if
like
you
to go
want more
harder, longer, faster?
and anyone who's thinking about their marketing around their bottles, we are gonna get a patent on that.
I'm trademarking that right off the
Trade
bat. I am going to have the most massive male audience buying my bottles. Harder, longer, faster. I'm in.
But I don't want everyone to think like this is just for athletes or improving athletic performance. Although at the baseline of anything that we're looking to do when we're looking at improving the functions of our bodies, using athletic performance is a really good indicator because that's when we're looking at the exertion of your body and how well it is able to just perform. So that it's a great thing to look at even if you're not thinking like I'm going to maximize my athletic performance. If you're maximizing how your body is essentially performing on a daily basis, you're just going to feel better. But not all of these studies were done just on athletes or looking at performance because they're also looking at how hydrogen water affects fighting disease, which is obviously the most important thing that we're all listening here for because
I
most
freaked
of
out
us
when
are
I saw
thinking.
that. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, it's one thing to claim like you'll give me more energy throughout the day. That's awesome. But like the claim of being able to fight and counteract disease is like next level, and like now I'm listening, you know?
yeah, yeah. Well, so this study, like we're gonna link all of these, but this one looked at hydrogen water as a means of fighting diseases like RA. And one of the studies showed significant improvement in symptoms and even remission in people with early onset RA. So looking at some of these, there's also some other um, you know, parts of the study where we're looking at people who are undergoing radiation therapy. And this is one of those that's just, like, super important because anytime you're undergoing this type of cancer treatment, we're looking at what can we do to help the body kind of maintain or fight during this time. So, this group drinking rich water for 6 weeks during treatment reported higher quality of life scores than the controlled group, and this was done with patients who were, living with liver cancer and undergoing radiation.
I mean, anyone, who's known anyone or fought this, fought cancer themselves knows the toll that radiation takes on the body, the side effects. The doctors prepare you for all these kind of things. And the thought that a certain type of water could, now we always have to wonder,
Mm.
is it that we have participants drinking more water? I mean, you said this in the opening of the podcast. Do we have people feeling better simply because they are drinking more water because they're part of a study in which they're being asked to drink water? Um,
But
but
looking at that with the control group is also drinking more water.
right.
So, like, that's where it kind of for me, I'm like, I know, I'm when I get the bottle, I know I'm gonna start drinking more water, and I have a little bit of a definitely a placebo effect going on. But when you have 2 groups and neither of them know if they're getting hydrogen water or not, and one is just drinking typical water, the other one's drinking hydrogen water, and still the hydrogen water group is reporting higher quality of life, um, that's that's a claim. That's a good
Yeah, that
overall.
really puts it over the edge for me. And looking at why things like RA or radiation therapy would be helped by hydrogen water. We
Mhm.
have some preliminary studies. They're not done on humans yet, but we have some studies done on rats and mice that might explain why this is happening. The findings are extremely exciting because what they're finding is that hydrogen water has a ton of antioxidant powers, and it reduces oxidative stress. Now, what that is, if you're not familiar, you have a certain amount of free radicals and antioxidants in your body naturally. And when they get out of balance, we consider free radicals to be, things that are stress coming. They can both come from both your normal body functions and external forces. Things like sun exposure, industrial chemicals. These are the kinds
Mold.
of free radicals that scientists look at when they're thinking about cancer causing contaminants. We are having an imbalance in our oxidative stress where we have more free radicals than antioxidants flowing around, and we aren't able to maintain the health of our cells. And that's when we have, cellular death and issues that are causing cancer in people and other diseases, not just cancer.
Or yeah, like just causing people to become a bit more sick. And I think that is something that we've, talked about in the podcast a lot is that I recently saw a study about the people the ages like 25 to 40-ish are how they're feeling on a daily basis is like 55% of like of how their maximal like how good they could be feeling just with like the environment, like how you are processing the environment, obviously diet, exercise, all that goes into it in our current um, how modern society typically lives our lives on our phone, on our computers, things like that. But um just just looking at like as a society we can kind of look at how we're feeling pretty sick a lot of the time. Like I feel like that's safe to say like a lot of us are feeling like pretty sick. There's a lot of inflammation, there's a lot going into our foods, into our lifestyles, and we're not feeling energized on a daily basis. So, when we can take that into consideration and think about what are some of the things that could help us feel less sick, that's when it's really important to think about, like, some of these studies done on people who are um, going through radiation. Like, what makes you feel less sick? Did this work? Yes. What could that do for a healthy body? A quote unquote healthy body is exciting. Quick break to tell you about our brand new spring collections out now. We have some pretty cool stuff this spring. Our flowy shorts are the staple, like, outfit for athleisure, running errands. That's what I'm doing in them. I have all 5 colors and I'm wearing them on repeat.
Spring has sprung with the flowy shorts. They are too cute. Built-in shorts underneath with pockets. We've also got some super colorful collections that just scream spring. Guys, there's pandas.
There's pandas.
There's
I have
freaking
been so
pandas.
excited for the pandas. I'm worried that those are gonna sell out, so make sure you grab those as soon as possible and check out all of our brand new collections this spring.
It's very exciting. And, it's not a far cry to consider the fact that if we are seeing hydrogen water have antioxidant properties, then it doesn't take a huge leap to wonder why people that are experiencing radiation might find some relief in that, because getting rid of those free radicals and restoring that balance is really like we we are looking for ways to add antioxidants all the time in
Yeah.
nutrition, and the thought that we could do
In
it
ways
through
to reduce
hydration.
inflammation.
Right.
Mm.
And the thought that we could do it simply through hydration, um, is like a major wow for me. And so, you know, all in all, what these preliminary studies are showing, whether they're done on rats and mice, human beings, they're showing anti-inflammatory qualities. They're showing this, there was a study done on mice looking at heart disease
Mhm.
and the ability for the body to control cholesterol and plaque levels in the arteries that lead to the heart. And in mice, they showed a massive, massive reduction in plaque in arteries with the introduction of hydrogen water. And I don't know,
No, and
it's
the
hard
mice
not to
definitely don't know what water
they
they're getting.
definitely they definitely aren't telling their brain to clear out that plaque or
Placebo controlled.
right? No, it's just it's hard not to get, like, incredibly excited about this. If you are interested in, deep diving any of these studies, we have them linked in the show notes. Go, find, these are because Google's a weird place. You know what I mean? We sifted
Yeah.
through the best studies that are like, very respected in the scientific community. So that way you don't end up with like, is hydrogen water great? And like the first article is, I don't know, a hydrogen water site
Backed by
telling you,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Right.
It's like
So,
one of those skincare things that'll be like, "This is absolutely going to make you look 30 years younger." And you're like, "Wait a minute, who did this?"
who wrote this? um, yeah, so definitely check out some of the links and look at some of the studies and prepare to be impressed, I think, for sure. What we're going to do next is we're going to talk about our bottles
Mhm.
because we sifted through the science and then we immediately went and ordered bottles. And what each of our bottles do is it has like a little mini gas tank in the bottom. They are portable and they are both battery powered so that you press a button and the gas chamber comes on and the hydrogen gets infused into your water and then you drink it. This is just regular tap water, or I use filtered water, but you can put regular tap water in it. You can put any water in it you want. It doesn't change the flavor of the water. It doesn't. One of the things that I was kind of expecting was that it would be bubbly, like it would
Mm.
turn it into like a fizzy drink. It does not. Nothing about the water tastes or the texture. Nothing's different. It's you wouldn't even know.
That's, as soon as some people at the gym saw me drinking out of this, 'cause it lights up, so every time I put more water in it, I look like I'm going around with this, like, lit up bottle. Um, but that was some of the things that people asked me too is it turn it into, like, fizzy water? Like, no, it doesn't taste like a seltzer or anything else. It just tastes like water. Like, there's no bubble effect in there.
Which was nice for me because I personally like the taste of water and I don't like when it's altered in any way. And
Same,
I
same.
also am like certain times of the day I can drink a bubbly drink, but like other times like it's like I need flat water. I don't sometimes that can really bloat me if I have too much fizzy. So I was happy that both the taste and the quality of the water were unchanged because that was kind of going to be a deal breaker for me. But do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first? Because we got two different bottles because we felt like that
Mhm.
was the best way to kind of review it for you guys.
Yeah. You can go first.
All right. So I got the Hydrolyte bottle, and Hydrolyte was nice enough to give us a discount code for any of you guys who might want to try the bottle. The code is TTSL20, and you can go to their site, hydrolyte.com, I believe.
And that's $20 off the bottle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 20,
Yeah,
not
they
20%.
crushed
It's
it.
20. Yeah, they crushed it. It's $20 off the bottle.
And we didn't tell them. I just want for, like, anytime we give you guys a code, like, we don't tell any of these companies, like, "We're gonna give you an amazing review." Like,
No,
they don't know anything that we're about to say. I mean, let's be serious. We don't know half the things that we're about to say.
I never do.
So, this is not, like, a plug for them at all. We just genuinely, tried the bottle and reviewed it, and they, gave us a discount code not knowing if we were gonna love it or hate it.
That's right, and obviously we're not sponsored or we're not gaining anything. This is the code is just for you. It's not an affiliate code. We don't get paid when you use it. It's just for you because we thought it might be a
We
product that you
love
might be
you.
interested in.
Yeah.
So, my Hydrolyte bottle price point is $149.99. All right, this was not a cheap one. There are cheap hydrogen bottles, and we are going to review one of them. But this is a little bit more on the expensive end. 150 bucks for the hydrolyte. It puts out 3,000 claims, puts out 3,000 ppbs, sorry, of molecular hydrogen per serving. This is what the bottle looks like. It claims to add 3,000 ppbs of hydrogen, and it does that with a little flip of a switch at the bottom. You just press the button. I will show, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like. It lights up and you can see the gas chamber like initiating. Here you go.
Yeah,
And
you
then
got a
little
lot more
bubbles.
gas in there.
Oh, I got more gas than you.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is why we reviewed 2 price points, because I think it makes a
I
difference.
said, "Did it look like a tornado?" And you said, "No, that's totally a
Well, a
tornado."
tornado spins. Okay.
Is it not spinning?
No, it's just going like up.
Mm.
So the cycle takes, well, there's 2 cycles actually on this one, 3 minutes, and they also have a 10-minute cycle that adds more hydrogen. It also, so I said it charges, right? The thing that I loved about this bottle, and I'm going to use the word love here because it so impressed me. I've used this more than 40 times on both
Mm.
the short and long cycle, and I've not recharged it. I charged it once when I got it, and I'm super impressed with the battery life because I thought it was gonna be like a charge at the end of every day type of thing,
Me too.
and
Mhm.
that is, like, not something I wanna do. I have enough things that need to charge at the end of the day, including myself, um, and I'm just super impressed with the battery life on this. I love it, and also it has a self-cleaning mode, so there is no need to replace the filter, which is great, because if you start giving me filters and then you start telling me that I need to replace it every 3 months and then I have to like write down on my calendar that I have to, it's too many things. I can't, that's not going to be sustainable for me. It's a glass bottle and it is BPA free, and Hydrolite gives you a 1-year warranty on your bottle. So if it stops working for any reason, you can reach out to support. Um, my opinion of the bottle is that it is small. That is one of my first call outs. It doesn't hold a ton of water. I'm more of a gigantic Stanley type person where I like fill it up and then I go the whole day with like the same water. Um, this needs a lot of refilling. I don't I'm not mad about it because after I read the studies, I was like, well, that's absolutely worth doing the work for. But I will say that if you're like a major water drinker, you're gonna have to refill this like 100 times a day. And you know what? I don't know. You got to kind of decide whether or not that works for you. Um, it has a nice little carrying case here. It also came with a sleeve that you can like, because it is glass, so you
Came with
can't.
a water bottle condom?
Yeah.
Nice.
With like a little hook so that you can, I don't know, whatever.
Mhm.
And okay, so it doesn't hold a lot of water. I love the fact that it doesn't change the content or the taste of the water. Um as far as, did you see notable things? Um, I'm a person that struggles with my water intake. If you give me a tool that helps promote me to drink more water, I'm going to feel better. I don't know that I can attribute any direct things to hydrogen water, as opposed to just drinking more water in general. I have felt like I've had more energy and I have felt better about my hydration levels since getting the bottle, but I am not willing to say that I have notable effects that I can directly contribute to the hydrogen in the water, just simply because I'm such a struggle fest when it comes to drinking. So I don't have like a good comparison. Like, oh, when I'm drinking all the time regular water, and then I'm drinking all the time hydrogen water, and I can totally notice a difference because that's just not my life. But I love the bottle. I think it was a great value for the money. I will definitely be getting Mark one of these. I'd like to get Rory one, but they come in only in glass, so that's that ain't it for him. And I'm super happy with the purchase. I would rank it as a good health and fitness purchase for me.
So you think over the last 2 weeks, you do feel better,
I
but
do.
you have increased your water intake over the last 2 weeks?
That's the weird thing, is, like, I'm not
Mhm.
in the placebo double blind, like, I'm just, like, I'm a camel, and then I had to do research for a podcast and not be a camel. So, do I feel better? Yes. Do I know why exactly? No.
So here's what I think. I obviously didn't try your bottle. So here's what I think though. $150 for a bottle that you're able to reuse so many times to consistently drink water. Like I know that seems like a lot for a water bottle, but if you think about, like, when I talked about at the beginning, some of these, like, cans, things like that, like, if you add up having to repurchase all of those things instead of purchasing a water bottle one time, that's gonna give you the repeated effects of hydrogen water, like, that for me is, like, a no-brainer.
That's true. I mean, if I, added up, I like seltzer,
Yeah.
like once a day. If I added up the cost of what it is for seltzers over the course of a year, um, certainly it would be well worth the money to drink the water instead, especially considering, I'm not getting the antioxidants, anti-inflammatory benefits from the seltzer. So
Mhm. Alright, so my bottle is different, but let me just say this. We got our bottles at the same time 2 weeks ago, and mine has a giant dent in the top here.
mine's in mint condition.
It broke off and I dropped it and it was raining. I had a bunch of things in my hand. I dropped it and I was like, a piece broke off and I was like, why am I like this? It hasn't even been 2 weeks. So anyway, that's
Oh.
how we're living our lives. But mine is more of an Amazon one. H2O Smart Hydrogen Cup is the one that I have. So if you kind of do a quick Google search on that, Amazon will probably be the first one that comes up. And the price point is about $50, $49.99. So it's much cheaper. But the hydrogen output is 1600 ppb of hydrogen into the bottle, and it's about the same size. So it's about half of the hydrogen molecules are getting in this bottle than Rachel's. Now that doesn't make sense. But
Well, it
ha
does because, I mean, it was $50 and
yes,
mine was $150. So, like,
exactly.
kind of what you're doing there is saying, "I'm gonna pay a little bit less, I'm gonna fill it up more, and I'm going to try to get the same amount of hydrogen throughout the day as, like, say, me, where, I'm getting more per serving, but you could double my servings."
So it was very easy to use. It came with a USB. That it was very easy to use, but there was no like instructions. Not that I really needed them, but like there was nothing else that came in here to be like, how often do you change the filter? What's in there? Like there was nothing that kind of told me about the product,
Oh,
which I
classic
thought,
Amazon.
yeah, which I was really disappointed in because, if you're gonna promote something like hydrogen water, like, I wanna know it doesn't even say on the bottle, like, if for inflammation, like, you're gonna feel so much better, like, nothing, or even just, like, how long I should charge this thing. There was none of that. So,
Wow.
it's, like, basically, like, blank. Yeah, it was just,
Wow.
like it came with just, like, the bottle, no, bottle condom, and,
Boo.
just the USB. The USB was easy, you just plugged it right in, um, to charge it up, and it has lasted t I haven't recharged it at all, so it's lasted the 2 weeks multiple times a day using. So I will say it does last for a significant amount of time, and I will show you guys turning it on. same thing, like, it's blue and you can kind of see
Oh,
the
yeah, you could see mine was more for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yours was definitely and I'm glad we had a similar amount of water left in our bottle. So this charges in 3 minutes or this is it not it maybe it's getting low on battery now that I said yeah, it is because it's shutting off. Alright,
Oh.
so 2 weeks is its max. It needs to
2
charge
weeks
up.
plus a drop.
Alright, it did experience a drop, and I'm getting some leakage, when, in the bottom of the bottle, and I don't think that was from the drop because as you can see, like, top is where it hit the ground. Where it took the major impact. So, it does hold a charge, it's not something that you have to charge every night, which I'm happy about, but, you will need to charge it obviously a little bit sooner than Rachel's. It, what was I gonna say? Um, I liked it. I definitely drinked more or drinked. I definitely drank more water throughout the day, especially because like the bottle is much smaller than something I'm typically used to, which I found slightly annoying at first, but I did like that I had to keep getting up because I think that for me, a lot of times, like I'll be working and not get up for hours. And why do I need to? I have a giant water bottle. So I did actually like the fact that I needed to get up and that my water was always cold because it was always being refreshed. So I don't know if that works for you guys where you have a smaller water bottle. It's like, well, you get new water all the time. It hasn't been sitting all day.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I really did like that about it and that I could, it was small enough to fit anywhere and kind of take anywhere and put in a bag, which you don't get sometimes with the Stanley, the straw and everything. You have to carry it where you can't just put it in your bag and carry it around. So I did like that about it, but I think that personally, I would invest in a better bottle than this one, because I do think that the benefits of getting, 3,000 ppb, molecules of hydrogen water rather than 1,600 is a better investment, and I just think, like, this for a water bottle you're gonna continuously use, you're something you use every day, like, $150 really is not that big of a like, thing. I feel that way about shoes. I feel that way about, like, something you're gonna drink you're gonna use it every day repeatedly. So, I would not recommend getting this bottle personally, for those reasons,
Well,
but
we
I
wanted to
would
go with like sort of, hey, we're gonna get like sort of a more budget version that comes in one, day from Amazon, whatever. And then we're gonna go with the high end direct to consumer, like really expensive kind of
well,
version.
this shipping took longer, didn't it?
Yeah, that was the thing is like I thought like by going the Amazon route, like it would be super quick shipping and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so I think, I'm happy that we did it in this way of like because sometimes you can buy the cheaper one and get just as good of a
It can
product.
be
And it's
yeah. Oh,
like,
totally.
hey, like
Sometimes
why
you're
are
like,
we
why am I even buying these like crazy expensive like especially for water bottles. Like you can get like super nice water bottles or you can get like, the $50 or whatever. But there's definitely a quality difference here between these and obviously the difference in hydrogen molecules you're actually going to be consuming when you're drinking the water, but also there's definitely, there's only one setting, so you just kind of like turn it on. So it's just like there's no
so
other.
you
Rachel
only
has
have the
3
3
settings.
minutes, not the 10-minute
Only the
one?
3 minutes,
Mhm.
no 10-minute option.
Mhm.
Um, so obviously, like I probably wouldn't even use more than 3 minutes 'cause as soon as I get it going, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to drink some water. But and there's nothing. I'm not sure about any like the filter, how long, because none of that information came in here. So I was kind of disappointed in that. But I mean, if you're just like, maybe I want to try this out and you're just looking for a $50 version, I mean, it'll you are getting some hydrogen according to the bottle, but, I say invest in a better one.
So here's the real question. Will you be ordering a hydrolyte?
Definitely.
Definitely?
I Yeah, I think that I was initially skeptical for sure, um, looking at some of the research, and I wanted to see, and knowing how new it is, that type of research when it initially comes out, you just gotta be skeptical about it. But for me, there is no downside aside from purchasing a bottle. Like, there's nothing that I'm gonna lose by drinking more water. Like,
So this is
I
where I'm at with it too, is like the risk reward here is just so there for me because the worst case scenario is that I'm just drinking regular water, which is great.
Yeah,
The
which
best
with a
case
light up.
scenario,
Yeah.
right, with a light in it. The best case scenario is that I'm drinking water with added hydrogen that is going to mildly to dramatically change the conditions for the better in my body. Like,
Mhm.
so where is the part where it's bad? I mean, yeah, like you said, like, it is an investment. It's $150. But if you kind of look at what your other drinks are that you're buying um throughout the course of a year,
It's
it's not
definitely worth
really
the
that much of an
investment.
investment.
Yeah. I would also say I started one day before, like, I did an open workout, like, a pretty strenuous workout, and, like, I did not feel as sore as I thought I was going to from that workout, and I talked to a lot of different people who felt, like, very sore, and I really didn't, and I know that I had increased my water intake, which obviously is a testament to how much you should be drinking water throughout the day and how much better it will make you feel, but I did notice my energy levels were on the upswing, and I definitely was not as sore. So I really don't see a downside in getting a hydrogen
Can I
bottle.
ask you a question? Did you by any chance drink the hydrogen water like similar to the studies that we looked at where it was right before the open workout?
I like purposefully 30 minutes before the
Mm,
workout had
mhm.
finished a full hydrogen water.
So you're trying to basically recreate the study, and we
It
don't
was a study of
have
Kelsey.
yeah, we don't have, the tools to say whether or not Kelsey had increased power output, increases
Improved performance
endurance.
because yeah.
Right. We don't have, the machinery to say that for sure, but did you feel good during the workout? I mean, this is anecdotal.
I know. That's why I was like, well, either way, for me though, either way, that was a win. So if I thought that it was going to give me superhuman powers, that's good enough because if you haven't listened to, you know, some of our previous podcasts of like your brain making you sick, the connection between how your body is feeling and how your brain is telling your body how it's feeling, you should listen to those because your brain is a powerful place. But there was no downside. So either I was thinking that I had some extra hydrogen to power me through or not, it was going to be good. But I do feel like I know that my performance was well, so my workout went well. It wasn't like I had a bad one. And, my recovery time after was definitely better than I thought it was going to be because I went and played pickleball for, like, 3 hours after.
I mean, purely anecdotal, but that was kind of the point in getting these bottles, testing them out, and giving you your feedback. I fully expected to have this be one of those trendy, weird, oh my God, now everyone's gonna have a light up water bottle and think they're totally healthing it, like,
Yeah.
type of things. And I was actually prepared to tear it up. But that's not how I am going to approach it actually. After looking at the studies extensively, after using the bottle myself, I would say that I will be purchasing one for everyone important in my life. And I'm a skeptic. So, if we can leave you with anything from this podcast, it is some more deep dive research that you can get into if you'd like. We also are leaving you with $20 off a hydrogen bottle if you would like to try one. And just knowledge that there is a market for this. There are also tablets, as we mentioned. There are multiple ways to get more hydrogen into your water. And again, what is the downside? I'm having a hard time coming up with one. So, yeah, I hope this has been informative, friends. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, hope it and maybe you'll go get one. I don't know. Have you heard about this craze? Tell us in the comments.